So I started a video, part one, maybe you've seen, about the books I've read this past month, and this is going to be part two, taking a closer look and giving some personal ideas or insights into the books that I have read this month. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on any of these books if you've read them, or the subject matter, or whatever. Just comment down below. And I thank Leela's Lovely Life for coming up with this idea of doing reviews on books I've read, and I linked her channel below, so check that out.
Vinyl Junkies, Adventures in Record Collecting, Brett Milano, St. Martin's, Griffin, New York, copyright 2003.
Well, as you may know if you watch my channel, I am a huge record collector of Hawaiian records. So, any book about record collecting is kind of interesting to me. Vinyl Junkies, I'd heard about and waited quite a while until I could get a cheap copy of it. And I'm a little bit disappointed with this one, to be honest, because, some collecting books do this as well. It's not the only one. This is actually just, each chapter is about a different person that collects and their story and reasons why they collect and info about their collections. And it's, nicely written. My main complaint about it is, like a lot of record collecting things I've read, everybody in here except for one or two people collects either like rock, they're either rock, old soul, or like a lot of punk new wave, and they're really into these obscure things. And a lot of these people, I will say, sorry if this ruffles feathers for anyone, but a lot of those people sort of act like the music they like is the only kind of music that's worth collecting, or that really tells a story. And I, being somebody who I've always been kind of off the beaten path, and I love Hawaiian music, I love old easy listening, old lounge music and stuff. And these kind of these kind of books tend to really just not even talk about that stuff and refer to music that's not in their favored genres as just sort of non-existent or not there. I've been in record shops where that's kind of the case as well, where all the emphasis is on, a punk or new wave or rock or whatever, and everything else is just, which I understand because it's not as collectible, but doesn't that make it even more collectible really in the end if it's junk? I don't know. But anyway, it was an enjoyable book, but I kind of missed that. That attitude was definitely present in the book, and it just kind of tempered my enjoyment of it somewhat.
Empty Mansions, The Mysterious Life of Uget Clark and the Spending of a Great American Fortune by Bill Dedman and Paul Clark Newell Jr., Ballantine Books, New York, copyright 2013.
Okay, let me first say, as a person with somewhat limited attention span, or losing consciousness during reading or whatever, something I loved about this book that I don't think I've ever seen in a book like this before was that the chapters are very short. Like most of them are only like 3-4 pages long. Some of them are long, but they're 3 or 4, maybe 5 pages long. That's it, with whatever information about whatever subject they were talking about. And I love that, because there were so many places where you could just stop and not miss anything and not get lost in these gigantic chapters. So, fascinating book. W.A. Clark, one of the wealthiest people in American history that nobody really knows anything about now. I never knew anything about him. But he would have been, had he been alive today, as wealthy as Bill Gates. So, yeah, interesting how some people kind of disappear from history. But it's about his daughter. Very interesting person who was close to her family, and then they all passed away, and she ended up more or less by herself in these mansions, and very private and kind of kept away from people. She didn't like a lot of social interaction. Some relatives, including one of the authors who did have contact with her, only had contact through the phone, and she never gave them her phone number, so it was when she called them. It's the only communication they had, other than letter writing also. And she ended her life, actually, I think the past 10 or so years, in a hospital room by her choice. She had some illness, she was fine, and she didn't get released. She had a lot of. It's questionable, what her mental state was. I mean, she seemed very together, very with it. Wrote letters to people, but distributed her fortune in a very odd way that was questioned or challenged, but I guess not successfully. And yeah, like why would she stay in a hospital when she had like 5 mansions? But she did. One of the mansions in Connecticut, she never even lived in. She bought it, never lived there, and never put a piece of furniture in it. Never for like 40 years. It just was upkept by somebody, but never a piece of furniture in it. So, money, right? This is about extreme wealth. Well, money doesn't make you happy. No, it doesn't. But there is a certain point, but that you need. I mean, as long as all your basic needs are met, I've always read scientifically, they say once all your needs are met, any more money doesn't necessarily make you any happier. And I believe that as long as your basic, all of everything is met, you're okay. If it's not, you're struggling, that's a different story. But if everything is met, you're basically happy, and a lot more money isn't going to make you happier. But I have to say, money can make you happier. I'm not going to deny that because, then you can like go on cruises and you can travel some, and you can, if you see something you really want, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I'll buy that because I want it and I have the money and I can do it. Doesn't necessarily make you happy, but it can make your life easier, for sure. So, the amount of money she had, though, wow. But she spent a lot of it. Crazy. She spent a lot of it. She collected Japanese dolls, little reconstructions of houses and buildings, little tiny things, and she spent fortunes on it. It really, if you get a chance to read this, it is really interesting. Really interesting. Empty Mansions. Okay, that's the end for now of my two-parter. I'll be back when I finished a couple more books, and we'll see how it goes. So have a good month and good week, good day, whatever. And subscribe if you'd like to see more, and press the like button if you enjoyed it. And everything else we're supposed to say, I don't remember, whatever. And if you want, check out Leela's lovely. I keep saying, I think it should be Layla in my mind, but it's Leela's Lovely Life. I will link that below again.